Hi, this is Russell Stannard from teachertrainingvideos.com. I've had loads of questions recently about how you screen share when working with Zoom. The sorts of questions that people are asking me are, Russell, my students don't seem to be able to screen share. Russell, my students can all screen share and I can't control the lesson. Russell, I can't screen share my PowerPoint, where is it? So I'm going to go through everything about sharing your screen in Zoom, which is actually really the crucial part of working with Zoom. I'm going to show how you can either control it or you can pass control to your students if you want them to screen share. I'm going to show you the settings that you need to think about, and I'm going to show you some of the problems that you sometimes happen if you've got another program open on the screen. You don't need two monitors. I'm going to take you through everything about screen sharing from A to Z. Really hope you like the video. If you do, please like it, please share it, please any comments leave them below, and of course if you're really interested in my work, come to teachertrainingvideos.com. There's a special section on Zoom with more videos about different Zoom features that you might be interested in, and of course if you really want to follow my work, sign up to my newsletter and join me on my YouTube channel. Right, let's get going. When you come onto Zoom, when you log in, it's a good idea in your general settings, so that every time you create a meeting, you've already got your general settings set. You can override them, but it's a good idea if you come down into settings here on the left hand side, and then really what you're doing is you're working in the basic settings. So just click there to go to the basic settings, and if you scroll down, just scroll down a little bit from the basic settings. So if I just come down here, you will see that you've got the option here, screen sharing. And what you can do here, and this is a good idea, is probably a good idea in most cases to allow both yourself and the participants to share. And you'll see in a minute when I explain how this is connected to the breakout room. But it's a good idea though to say who can start sharing when someone else is sharing, the host. So if you want to kind of take control of a screen sharing situation, then at least if one of your students is screen sharing and you want to take over, you can. If it's only you that's going to be doing the screen sharing, and that may be the case if you're perhaps doing a webinar or just doing a very teacher-fronted lesson, then don't allow your students to screen share, okay? But I normally allow my participants to screen share as well as myself. If you set that, when you come into Zoom, that will be the setting. The good news is you can override that, and I'm going to show you how now. So I've set my general settings. I'm going to come over up to here. I'm going to schedule a meeting. It's going to open up. I'm just going to leave all of that. I'm not going to do anything. It doesn't make any difference. I'm going to click on save. That's my meeting scheduled, and then I'm going to click on start meeting straight away. And we're going to come into the meeting. I'm going to click on open Zoom. Couple of minutes and we'll come in. Now I'm going to turn off the webcam because I'll be using the webcam in Zoom, so I'll need to turn myself off the screen, and we'll start to look at some of the options with screen sharing. Okay, so we're logged into Zoom. Obviously got my camera here. All right, I'll turn that off because it's way too big. Come back here. First thing is I want you to look behind the screen. I'm going to minimize. All right, so it kind of goes small. Notice I've got the PowerPoint slide open already. So I've got a PowerPoint slide in the background here. I'm going to open it up. So I've got that open. Now I'm going to open up Zoom again. And when I now click on screen share, there is the PowerPoint slide ready. I can click on it and click on share. The PowerPoint slide is open. I can now click onto the slide and use the arrow keys. Make sure you click onto the screen to activate the PowerPoint slide. You can now move forward and back through the pages. So you can easily share a PowerPoint slide in Zoom, and you don't need two windows. Now what a lot of people get confused about is simply because they think to themselves, well, where's the PowerPoint slide? You don't need to do that. You've opened it up before. Now I'm going to give you a little tip here. Interestingly, if you scroll over here and you annotate, and I have pointed this out before, and if you annotate on the screen, okay, now if you now click on the mouse, click on the PowerPoint and then move forward, don't forget the annotations will still be there, because the annotations are really on a kind of it's basically a layer above the presentation. So the first thing you have to do is click on clear the drawings, then move on by clicking onto the screen and using because you have to tell Zoom what is active. So as soon as you click on here, for example, let's do it again. So we click on drawer. Now the drawing tool is active. Okay, so if I draw, let's say, onto the screen, now the drawing tool is active. And of course, I can't move forward. It's just going to draw for me. I need to click on the mouse, click onto PowerPoint, clean the drawing off, and then click on the forward key to move to the next page of the presentation. So that's how you work in a PowerPoint slide. So let's look at another example now about screen sharing video, because some people are getting caught out with this as well. So again, I'm going to minimize Zoom. So there it is, just there, minimize. I'm in the background here, and I've got one of my own videos about working with Zoom. Okay, it's called Key Settings. I've got the video ready on my computer already. Okay, now I click on here to maximize again. So I'm back into Zoom now. I'm going to come to screen share. Two things really important. First of all, find the video. So there it is. That's the video I want to play to my students, but I also want to make sure they can hear it. So I need to click on that button as well. Click on share, and it's just, again, the same thing. Now you've got control. You can play the video. Before. And again, let me just skip the advertisement 1 second, and the video's playing, and you can see, and the students will be able to hear the sound because I have not necessarily a good idea. And now, you might not realise this, but if you come up to the top here, I do believe if you click on a note, same thing again, you can actually even draw on the video. Okay, because remember, everything is on a layer above the video. For me personally, the breakout rooms have got to be one of the best features in Zoom. I'm going to do a special set of videos about the breakout room. But if you click on breakout rooms, I can explain this really clearly. You choose how many rooms you want. So you might say, I want 5 rooms. Let's imagine that it says you've got 20 participants. How many rooms do you want to put them into? 5. That will be 4 in each room. You click on automatically. And what will happen is automatically your 20 students will be divided into 5 different breakout rooms. You'll see them all listed, all super clear, and then you click on go to breakout rooms and everything starts. Okay, and then you'll see a list of all the breakout rooms. You'll see the students are in there. You'll suddenly be on your own, but you'll also notice that you can join any of the breakout rooms. Now, if the students are in a breakout room, so let's imagine they're in a breakout room now, if they can't share their screen, then really they're limited to talking, and maybe obviously if they're on their webcams, then they're talking to each other, but they can't look at anything on the screen because they're in a breakout room and none of them can share. So it's absolutely vital that if you're going to put your students in a breakout room, that you allow them to screen share so they can move into the breakout room and they can open up any content onto the screen that they want to share. Okay, just to go through that again, really clear. You click on the breakout rooms. You choose how many breakout rooms you want. Easiest is to do it automatically. It will tell you here, assign, for example, 20 participants into 5 rooms. That means there'll be 4 in each room. Everything's automatic. Click on create rooms and then click on go to breakout rooms, and it will all start automatically. Your students will be in breakout rooms. Now, if you haven't allowed them to screen share, they won't be able to do very much apart from chat together. That really is all they'll be able to do because there's nothing that they can share on the screen. So the key thing is, if you put your students into breakout rooms, make sure that you allow them to screen share, make sure that you've taught them how to screen share, and that way they can be sharing a PowerPoint slide in groups of 4 or 5, or talking about a picture, or going through a document, or whatever you decide to do. So what I think a lot of people are getting confused with is the fact that what I always do is minimize Zoom. Get on with getting my page ready, whether it's a image or whether it's a video or whether it's a PowerPoint slide, and then I come back over again, maximize Zoom, and then I do the screen share. Now, what about students? Well, in this case, you've set it that your students can screen share, so your students can do exactly the same as you. They can open up anything that's on their screen, and then of course they can talk about it if they've got audio rights as well, if you've allowed them to. So in theory, any student could do a presentation. They could play their PowerPoint slide and they can talk about their PowerPoint slide. All you've got to make sure is that in the settings, and go to advanced settings, who can share, all participants. That's all you need to then, therefore that means that all students can share. However, what you definitely want is that only the host can overwrite when someone's screen sharing. Otherwise, what you can have is all the students trying to open up screen shares at the same time. Now, one super important thing about the breakout rooms, and let me explain it. One thing is that you can be really imaginative with your screen shares. Sometimes it's very difficult in a Zoom lesson to make things engaging. It's great to know about interesting websites that can bring things to life. I'm just going to give you a really typical example of something I showed in another video recently, and I've been presenting to teachers as well. I'm going to just click onto screen share, and what I've done is I've got a website open called Google Earth. Google Earth is a great way of bringing the Earth to life for your students. You could take them off to visit a place that you've recently visited, or where you've been on holiday, or where you work, or where you were born, or anything. It's a really great tool. I'm just going to click on it, and just to demonstrate a really obvious example, let's say for example I'm going to show you Big Ben, since I'm an Englishman, and I could just zoom off to that particular place. You'll see it come onto the screen in a minute. Okay, it's going to bring me right down, and it goes into this 3D view. Now this could be a lovely activity for you, for example, to describe a place and then tell the students around about all of the things that are around. If you click, it will stop moving. You can click here and it'll come into 2D view. If you click here, it will come into 3D view. And when it's in 3D view, it moves around. You could start to describe all of the things that were around here. So I could say, right, okay, this is Big Ben, and this is Westminster Bridge, this is Westminster Pier, this is the Houses of Parliament, this is Parliament Square. I could then perhaps move around a little bit more and just say, right, okay, here we can see Westminster Abbey. Again, click into 3D, come around and highlight that. We've got these great views, so it can be a really interesting. Now, same sort of thing, you're trying to bring a lesson to life. It could be a history lesson, perhaps even an lesson in architecture, or it could be a lesson in language learning, and you want the students to listen to your description. Lots of creative writing, all sorts of things that it could be based around. One thing my students are always amazed with when I do this, and I often do this when I'm showing places, that you can even drop down onto the road. You can come in really close by using these buttons here. But let's say I wanted to show them a historic monument. I'm just going to do a quick example. So I'm going to drop myself here. Okay, so right in front of the monument I want to visit. And what hopefully it's going to do is drop me down. And there we are. We've got the monument right in front of us there. King Richard I. This is the king that was who is always mentioned in the Robin Hood stories. Hope that was useful. Hope you like Google Earth as well. Great tool. Have a little look at it. It doesn't take much to learn, and bring that into the class and make your lessons a lot of fun. Special section now on Zoom on my website on teachertrainingvideos.com, so don't forget to visit that. And don't forget that Zoom is great for live lessons, but how are you going to organise your students if you're working online with them? You need to be able to get them into classes and organise them so that you can share content and give them quizzes and activities to do and discussions, etc. And so I'd really recommend that alongside Zoom you're working with Edmodel. That combination is the most powerful. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, please sign up to the newsletter. Keep up with all the latest videos that I upload, blog posts that I write, webinars that I'm running, etc. And of course, follow me on my YouTube channel. And thank you very much.